All right, so welcome back to Drop a Jewel Malika. Today we have Tomo here,
Yeah, what's
mind
good?
of a hustler. Thank you for being here,
Thank
Tomo.
you
I
for
kind of
having
gave
me.
you a kind of short kind of handshake, but we're gonna fix that later. So thank you for being here. This is
Mm,
our episode 6. So we're a new podcast, and with Drop a Jewel Malika, not only are we a podcast, but we're also a business.
hmm
And if one person who knows anything about hustling is me, but I'm
Yeah,
hustling for the right things, but it's still hustling, right?
exactly.
And so why I wanted you to be on the show today is because I saw your work, the art that you're doing, everything that you're doing. I'll let you speak more about it, but I was like, damn,
Yeah,
yo, he's doing his thing with art, music, but your art is so like different, and I hear a lot of artists nowadays say, I'm an artist. And I'm like, I don't know about all that, and
yeah,
I know art is subjective, but some stuff is just not, you
yeah. There's
know.
no passion in it,
Yeah, for
no heart.
sure.
Yeah.
So I was like, I heard your music,
hmm
and I was like, wow, like he got that gift, natural gift.
hmm
And so, but also the work that you're doing, I thought that is really powerful, and I thought there's a lot of messages that could be shared about it, but also like your story. And
Yeah,
so I'll start off like this because there's so many layers to you, right? Because I
yeah,
just asked you like, what's the name of the business again? You just named me like five different,
yeah.
you
It's a
know,
lot of different parts. It's a lot of different moving parts. So I'm Tomo. Like
right?
my name of my business is Clothes by Tomo. My
Okay,
to find my music is Proud by Tomo because everything
okay,
is just by Tomo. It's the things I've created.
okay,
And you asked me about my username on Instagram too, which is KOBK617. So KOBK is a collective that I'm a part of,
okay.
and there's about like 13 other artists in there as
Oh
well.
wow,
So
wow.
yeah, we all work on different stuff, and we range from different places. So some of us are from Boston, some of us are from Brockton,
Okay.
and mainly those two areas. There's a couple of us from
Yeah.
Cambridge, stuff like that.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So
So
Boston, okay, on the
yeah,
map, but
mm,
also Brockton too. I always be talking about Brockton. I'm from
yeah,
Boston originally, so
yeah,
so I'm always picking up my town and making those connections. But I live in Brockton now, so you got
yeah,
that whole connection going on, right?
yeah.
So let me ask you this: before we even get into all that, the music, the art, the collaborations, all those
hmm
things you're doing, who's Tomo?
Tomo is me. You feel me? I'm Tomo. But I'm an artist. I've been an artist like my whole life for real.
Mm,
It's only been like since I was maybe like 10 years ago I started really taking it seriously. And not even that long. That's when I started like expanding my artistry. I feel like in 2019 I really started taking it seriously because I
mm,
started putting out my music on all platforms.
okay.
I think I've been introduced to art like through like
Mm-hmm.
going to church, you know. That's
Mm,
like my first introduction to art is through
okay.
church. Like just seeing people in the choir sing, stuff like
Mm,
that, dance, you know what I'm saying? Like they'll
okay.
have like
It's a
dancers
whole
come through.
vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
different stuff. So
yeah.
and then just like growing up around my cousins, just being introduced to different types of music, different genres
Okay.
of music, and like experimenting with my own type of music. And as I've just each year I grow, I just work on different mediums.
Mm,
So I started working on clothes in like 2018, and it all started with the music. I started off rapping, then I learned how to
mm.
make beats because I needed my own beats.
Right,
And then from there, I needed clothes. So then
right,
I just
right.
made clothes,
Made your
and
own
then
clothes.
each medium I needed to learn, I was just I'm gonna take time, I'm gonna learn it, and I'm gonna
Wow.
work on it until I perfect it. And I don't feel like none of them are perfected, but they're where I need them to be, and they're gonna
What is
continue to.
perfection though?
Yeah,
Like,
perfection. I don't feel like there's a such thing as perfection,
right,
but it's definitely like you could never stop growing. I feel like and never stop learning.
right.
I feel
That's
like a
right.
lot of people are like hindered by that. They feel like at a certain point it's like I know this much, so I'm good. You feel me? But
Yeah,
like nah, you should never stop learning. You should always remain a
right,
student.
right. There's a saying
Yeah,
that says seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave.
yeah,
And so, that's what sounds like
that's
what type of
fire.
time you on, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
you gotta look that up. That's a jewel right there.
yeah,
So, all right, so Tomo is an artist, right?
yeah.
But it sounds like you have this, for what it sounds like to me, like this business mindset of a hustler mindset, like
hmm
because like it's kind of like when you're in business and you need something, you want something done,
hmm
it sounds like you gonna go do it yourself, literally. Like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm at the show tonight, right? So let me create my own outfit because
yeah,
why not? Because you can. Or I want to make this song. I got the lyrics right here. I'll make my own beats, right? So it sounds
yeah,
like you're self sufficient in
hmm
many ways, right? That's dope
yeah,
because like many people are always seeking other people to like approval or their approval of validation or like brand, right?
yeah,
Oh, let me go get this brand or get that brand. It's so funny because when I first started this business, this corporation, I was like, I made a couple of t-shirts and I was like, my kids was like, oh, I got this. It was some fancy brand. I was like, nah, we ain't wearing that. We wearing Drop a Jew, you
Yeah,
know. And it was like, okay, we wearing Drop a Jew, you know. So like, it's such a beautiful thing when you can create your own. So Tomo is an artist, right?
yeah.
So when you think of artists, what comes to mind when you think of art?
So when I think of art, I think just anything that you create that could move people. I even
Mm,
view like architecture as a form of art.
right.
I feel like as long as there's a creator or somebody that could like has to build it and innovate to push it, that's art. And honestly,
Wow.
I was on my podcast the other day with my boys on Bad for the Community,
Yeah.
and we were talking about like the difference between a creative and an artist. So I
Right.
feel like a creative is somebody that's gonna innovate to push the culture forward. An
Okay.
artist is just replicating what they're seeing, what's being seen around them. And
Okay.
I never really thought about it from that perspective because there are certain people who are artists, and then there are certain people who are artists and
Oh,
creatives.
okay. I like that. So like the creator is pushing like
Yeah,
that movement, that
you
art.
pushing everything forward by looking for new innovative ways to do things.
Right. Right.
Whereas you could just be an artist and you're just replicating what you've seen. So if you hear
Right.
something nice on the radio, it's like, oh, I want to make something just like this.
Right.
Or you see a movie and you're like, I want to direct something just like this. Instead
I
of
like
thinking,
that.
how can I take this and make it my own or like add to it,
Right.
to like really push the culture forward.
Wow. So
Yeah,
wait, sound like but you pushing the culture forward a little bit,
yeah,
like a lot, right?
yeah,
So what do you consider yourself? A creative artist?
yeah. I consider myself I consider myself a producer at the
Okay.
heart of it. Because a lot of people when they hear
Nice.
producer, they think beats, but I feel like producing is just to take raw materials and create something out of it. And so I
Wow.
feel like I'm a producer in all sense of the word, like whether it be through clothes, my music, my videos, stuff like that.
Wow.
Um, I take what's in front of me and I
Yeah.
create something new.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing. That's powerful right there.
thank you.
You know the name of the show is Drop a Jewel in Malika. So you
Yeah,
already starting to drop jewels
yeah.
before I even ask you to drop jewels. Um, so can you give us an idea of like, all right, you said you started to kind of get into this around the age of 10. What is it about art that kind of like, I'll say this. Many people get into things, but we lose focus,
Mm,
right? We lose focus quickly. So what made you stick with your artwork? Like what made
mm,
you like how you stay focused? Because I'm sure like you
yeah,
live from Boston. I'm sure you're a black male. Like there's some
yeah.
challenges, some life twists and
There's a
turns.
lot of stuff that goes on, you feel me? A lot of stuff that people fall victim to and certain influences and stuff like that. I feel like what kept me focused is just seeing the people around me and the decisions they make, and me wanting something different. Whether that be
Mm,
like positive or negative decisions, like seeing certain cousins like go through school and finish that and like see them work a job and like certain stuff I just didn't want to do. So like I'm 24 right now. I've
hmm.
been recording music since I was 15.
Wow.
And so since then, like I started off recording music because I got really inspired from a Kanye concert I went to.
Kanye.
Yeah, I
Nice.
went
Shout
to
out
the
to
Yeezus
Kanye.
tour and like I seen how he had TD packed to the garden and I was like, this is all off of just art that he's made, you feel me?
Right.
And he was able to do that. And that really inspired me to like, all right, let me record. Cause like, like I don't know, just being in black household, everybody, you know what I'm saying, you have your little rap and stuff like that. But like to
For
actually like
sure.
take a step to be like, all right, let me get a laptop, let me learn the software and try to
Right.
like record myself and do stuff like that.
Right.
I took that step, and then from there, I graduated high school, went to college, and I like built a network. And then once I felt like I was in college and like it wasn't fulfilling me, I decided to leave.
Okay. What
You
did you
know,
go to college for?
I went to UMass Lowell for entrepreneurship and
Nice.
marketing.
All right.
Yeah,
So you got what you already needed from there.
yeah,
You got out.
exactly.
Nice. Wow. So all right. So you stuck with it. You had some influences. You talked about building a network.
Hmm.
What does your network look like?
I feel
How'd
like
you do that? Because it's hard to build a.
it was just like being genuine, and just
Mm,
like being genuine and being willing to work and grow with people. I
yeah.
feel like a lot of people when they think network, they're like, all right, how can I find the best person to do
Yeah.
such and such? But it's like you're not always gonna have the best people around you, but
Yeah. For
you have
sure.
people that's around you that's willing to learn and stay dedicated.
Right.
Those are the people that you need to stick with
Okay.
because the best people that's doing whatever craft that you're pursuing, they already have what's going on for them. You're not gonna be able to network with them unless you have like a bigger budget or to be. But the people
Right.
that's there that's willing to build with you and like be like, all right, we have this foundation, let's build with this. Like we both not where we want to be, but we're gonna learn and we're gonna get there, and
Yeah.
we're gonna stay dedicated to. That's the people that you need to be around. Cause like all the people that's the best at their craft, their teams, they
Yeah.
started off from the bottom and you work your
Right.
way up. So you
Right.
gotta network like they usually say network laterally, not upwards or like
Wait. Can you can you
horizontally, I guess.
can you give me more on that?
Yeah,
Like.
so it's like you network across. So like instead of trying to like say Jay-Z's in town, like don't try to network with Jay-Z. He's already where he's at right now. There's a Jay-Z in your town right now, you feel me, that you
Wow.
can network with. he just didn't get there yet.
Right.
And you overlooking it because you might not see the status that a bigger like artist or mogul might have, you know?
Right. I think
Yeah.
that's dope how you put that too, because I feel like with networking, like even with me starting a podcast, I know a lot of people.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, a lot. I mean, a lot. Right. Well, I thought I did. But starting a podcast, I had to, like, I think I mastered one area of like social work and mental health and stuff. And people think of social work and mental health, they sometimes think of like some like corny person who's going to come in and, just,
Yeah.
take your kids or do something weird like that. But that's not me. That's not
Hmm.
the type of time I'm on. I'm on a different type of entrepreneurial time. But I think because I knew so many people and like when I started the podcast, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be, lit. This person, this person got me, this person. And I was like, whoa. I was like, this is a whole different experience for me because
Yeah.
just because you know people don't mean, like you said, like you guys are on the same level in some ways. And sometimes you gotta start from that bottom. But if you have that mindset, right? That focusing mindset, that hustling mindset,
Mind of a hustler.
mind of a hustler, what you're gonna
Yeah.
get into, you're gonna get to it anyways. You're gonna get to that bag. You are the bag, right? You'll realize that and recognize that. So, but I think it can be discouraging sometimes too. Like if you do know people and you think you know them, and
Hmm.
the support is not there. So I think having a support system, a network, like you just said, you didn't just say I have a network, like I just know people, but it sounds like more like a connected
Yeah.
network, like people who support you guys, support each other, and you support each other's mission. And
Yeah.
I don't see
Exactly.
that a lot today, right? Nowadays,
Yeah.
I mean, it's very rare, and in some cases you
Yeah.
can find it, but you got to be looking for the right things, right? Like you can't be
Hmm.
looking for the Jay-Z, right? When your cousin over here is lit too, and he's got
Yeah.
it too, right? So I think that's a good point. Let's think about Mind of a Hustler.
Hmm.
What's that for you? Because like,
Mind of a Hustler is a art exhibition that I put together with my brother Eves,
okay,
and so we had it. We did the gallery opening on August 18th, and we had it open for a week, the week following
no,
week.
hold
So
on, go
yeah,
back. You did what?
an art gallery.
Okay,
We
hold
had
on.
the gallery opening. It was an opening event,
No,
and
no, no,
yeah,
no, no, no. Pause. You
yeah,
did a art gallery,
yeah, art gallery. It was my
like
first art gallery, my first
so.
art exhibition. Yeah.
So what is okay? So when I a lot of people think of art gallery, they may
Hmm.
think of this, high end, expensive art, like $1 million. But you did it own art gallery.
Yeah.
How many people doing making art galleries?
Not many people. I know a couple visual artists though,
Yeah,
and I feel like I've been able to learn from them, and that's through through seeing what they're doing. I've been
right.
able to do my first art gallery,
Wow,
and even my bro Eves, this is his third time doing it.
nice.
So, but this is his first time doing it where he's the solo exhibitionist artist. Usually, it'll be like in collaboration with other people to support their vision, but this
Yeah,
is like, all right, we came up with the concept together, and we was like, this is what we're going for.
for
We chose Mind
sure.
of a Hustler. We were just thinking of names. We like spent I think like a week and a half just thinking of names, just brainstorming. And then
It was already right in front of you.
yeah, because it
You
was
already
kind of
know what
like
it is.
just look into our minds, and it was really just to expand on the idea of not feeling like you have to turn to the streets or like do something that you're not passionate about to make your money. You could take your talent or whatever your interests are and turn that into a way to sustain yourself and to
Right,
build a community around you.
right. How many people came out to that exhibition?
We had 100 RSVPs, and then we had about like I think 50 or 60 people on the guest list that didn't get to RSVP. In total, I think there was around like 100, a little bit around 100 people there.
You had 100 people come out to your first art exhibition.
Yeah.
The fact that you even did an art exhibition, and I seen some of the artwork, and I was
Mhm.
intrigued. I was like, "This is dope!" Like, I, Ti's Trap House type of
Yeah,
museum.
I've seen it. I've never been in
I've
person
never
though.
been there either, but
Yeah.
the idea of like being able to put your own story, right? Like
Mhm.
you said, the art paints like the artist like kind of
Yeah.
is just puts their picture of like their reality or what's the story like and puts it in this image, right?
Mhm.
But that's what I thought. I didn't think of like you're copying Ti and nothing like that, but I thought of like this is dope, like because I think in our community we have so many people who be figuring it out.
Mhm.
Like we gonna figure it out. We hustle. We so talented,
Yeah.
and I seen. I was like, yo, he's lit. He's talented. Like this, and your crew, your network, right? Because you can't do something like that alone. But
Exactly.
just the thought, right? The thought of who came up with that idea? Like, of just like, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Was
doing the
that?
art gallery.
Yeah.
So it was us. It was us both, and I wanted to do the art gallery because he's been doing photography for a couple years now.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, how can I do something that can elevate me and my bro? You feel me?
Yeah.
So I've only started painting last year.
Yeah.
I've been drawing my whole life, but checking the transition from drawing to painting is a way different medium because it's like it's different. You gotta be able to, you have to have a lot of patience because you have to wait for the paint to dry in between sets. You can't just really like sketch out everything that you want in front of you.
Is that therapeutic?
It is in a way.
Yeah.
I think so. Sometimes it's therapeutic. Sometimes it's kind of frustrating because
Yeah.
it's not coming out the way you envisioned
Yeah.
it in your head. You know, you're just starting over a lot. I think
Yeah.
overall, I think art as a whole is therapeutic. It's a way for me to like really express my thoughts in a way that I can't. Not that I can't, but it's more like it's easier for somebody else to feel than me just explaining it. 'Cause I could tell you how I feel right now, but if you might hear a chord on a song or see like a color palette on a canvas, you might feel those emotions way more than me just telling you.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow. So, I really do. Thoughts are so powerful, and I think I be talking like I see clients for therapy and stuff, and I not just therapy, but just in general. I always be telling people like, pay attention to your thoughts because your thoughts literally become your reality.
Yeah, that's true.
Like for sure. Like you ever have like start your day off with like some negative thoughts and everything just like messed up that day?
Yeah, all the time. I feel like I try to like dismiss like the negativity that come into my brain. And a lot of times that's things like self-doubt. Like if I'm working on something and you might get that thought, what if this goes wrong? Or, like, what if this don't fall through? And it's just like you can't think like that. Which you just gotta like you gotta really like believe in yourself. And sometimes it's hard to do that because the things that surround you might all be like things that oppose these beliefs. So like, yeah, this is gonna go right, it's gonna go well. And you're seeing this go wrong, you're seeing this go wrong, you know what I'm saying? But you just really gotta push yourself to believe in yourself. You also gotta be realistic with yourself, A lot of people hear like manifestation and stuff like that and think like, oh, I'm gonna make $1 million tomorrow. That's not how it works. You gotta be like,
that's
all right.
the Instagram like post they be saying you're gonna be a millionaire today. Say yes.
It's kind of like I'm gonna work until I get to $1 million.
Yeah.
So then a lot of people don't think about the how. They just think about what they want.
Yeah.
It's like how you gonna get there.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't ever sit down and be like, all right, like, I'm about to do like this. If I say I'm gonna do something, I do it most of the time. Cause it's like I feel like the more you don't do what you say you're gonna do, you destroy your willpower.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you know you're not gonna do something, don't say you're gonna do it. Just be like, I'll get around to it. But a lot of people be like, yo, you feel me? I'm gonna pull up here on this day at this time and do this, and then they don't do it because they be like, bro, next time if I say I'm gonna do something, most of the time I do it.
Right.
You can't control everything. Sometimes things come up, but
right.
Most of the time,
plans change, but if you have that intent, then it will follow, right? Like if you have a goal or vision, sometimes we have goals and visions, and we be like, all right, like you said, I'm gonna get to that goal and vision, but we forget about the process.
Yeah.
Like there's a process between all that. You got a vision board?
I do not. Yeah. I feel like my art is kind of like my vision.
You got a vision board?
And the thing is too, which is interesting, like I've been seeing people create vision boards. My girlfriend was working on a vision board the other day, and I was really looking at it, and I was seeing she had a vision board that she created in 2017, and a lot of the stuff on the vision board was like things that I see like present in her life right now. Right. And I was like, that's kind of crazy. Like, so I really want to know what it would be like if I created a vision board and like what it would feel like. Just I don't know. I feel like it might trip me out too much because I already feel like they say life imitates art, and I feel like that's true. Yeah. I feel like a lot of stuff that I might like say in my music or even just like paints about, like it's like stuff that I see present in my life. Yeah. Whether it's like things that like I feel like sometimes I find stuff about myself through my music.
Right.
Like
you didn't realize. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So she got the vision board. And you seen that, and you're like, whoa, like seeing that is like a reality of what in 2017, that's not too long ago. Yeah. I mean, it may seem long to her or some other people, but when you think about it, time goes by so fast. Yeah. And when see your goals come to fruition, that's like real powerful. But again, I think it goes back to the action steps, right? You just can't, I think sometimes like I tell a lot of people like faith requires action. Like it's good to be hopeful and wish and envision things. But you just think it's not going to sprinkle out the sky. You got to put in this work, right? Yeah, that's where the hustling comes into place, right? Like hustling, moving, figuring out things. So you mentioned about your music, right? How many compilations do you got?
A couple. I feel like I gotta look through my discography. I know I have So my first full length project I released is called Dos Dos.
Okay.
And that was in Dos Dos? because I turned 22 that year. It was in
Ah.
2020, and so I
Oh, that
dropped that.
2020 joint.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
dropped
sorry.
that, and then since then I feel like I just been like just pushing out music.
Yeah.
Cause before that I hadn't like I've released music on like SoundCloud and stuff like that
Yeah.
here and there. Like to put my music on all platforms was me just saying like, all right, I'm about to put it out there and then see what people think about it. And then
Yeah.
I got good feedback. It was my first time like recording the music in the studio too, like not on my own, working
Wow.
with an audio engineer to like mix it down for me. So it was a whole different experience. I got like good reception on the music.
I like your music.
Thank you. I
What's your
appreciate
favorite
that.
song?
My favorite song? I don't know. I have a lot of songs.
All right, what this today?
I could tell you my favorite song off the project I just dropped.
All right, what's the name of the project you just dropped?
Marvelous. I dropped
Okay.
the project with my bro Owen. He produced the whole thing.
Okay.
And my favorite track off of there is I'll say either Mayo Clinic. Yeah, definitely Mayo Clinic or Stand on Your Word.
All right, so
my
Mayo
favorite
Clinic
track.
and Stay on Your Word.
Yeah.
Tell us about the inspiration behind the word, the album name Marvelous, right?
Yeah.
But also Mayo Clinic.
Mhm.
Tell us about that one, because I heard that
Yeah.
joint and I was like, come again, when I was
Yeah.
listening to it, and my therapeutic mindset went right
Mhm.
into it. But tell us about that, like the
Yeah.
inspiration for both.
So Marvelous was like from the day we started working on the album, I kind of felt like it was gonna be named Marvelous. I've been doing this with the past two projects I worked on. Like I'll name the project before, like not before I start the project, but once we have like a kind of like one song or two songs, I'm like, yo, this just feels like this. Like this is what I want to work on, and then build it around that concept, opposed to like just like making a bunch of songs and putting them together and be like, all right, this is what this sounds like. Like I picked the direction first, and then head towards that. And I chose Marvelous because I just felt that's how it felt, you know.
You felt
It's
marvelous that day.
yeah, just like you know,
Okay,
like really grand and like just myself, and it's like marvelous in the sense of like you know like something that people can marvel at.
Yeah,
And yeah,
I like
so
that.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
and then specifically with Mayo Clinic, so naming my songs is a little bit different than like naming my project. I usually name the song after I make the song. A lot of the times, like I hear the beat and I write to the beat, or whether I freestyle.
So it's not like necessarily like the like you know how the hook of the song is not necessarily the
Yeah,
song
not
name.
always, because I don't even say Mayo Clinic in the song. You know?
Okay, right. Because I didn't hear that, but I know what that means, Mayo Clinic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mayo Clinic is a website where people like to look up symptoms and like self-diagnose themselves.
Yeah,
so
people be on there. People be on there.
So that's the reason why I named it that too. Is just like I feel like in that song I was speaking about just like my experiences with like mental health and like certain manic episodes I might have had that were like THC induced and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I spoke about that in the song, and you brought it up earlier before we were on air, like mentioning Carney. So that was something that had happened to me a while ago. Just like,
well, can you like for our listeners? You said you had some manic, like it's around manic episodes induced by THC, right?
Yeah.
But also Carney Hospital, right? So you was at Carney Hospital for some time, or I heard you say it on the song twice.
Yeah,
like you went there twice.
It was for a couple of days. So the first time I went in there, what year was that? Maybe like either 2019 or 2020, and I was in a mind space where I was like, so a while ago, somebody had sold me K2. Like, this is when I was real young. I was like probably like 16, 17. Somebody sold me K2. And I had a bad experience with that.
Yeah.
And then so after that, I took a break with weed and I started smoking weed again. And then for a couple of years, I was fine. And then one day, I just smoked weed and everything was just like different. Like, I couldn't trust anybody around me. It made me feel like people was just like had secret intentions around me.
Yeah.
And it made me like real like just like pushing everybody away from me because I felt like people I knew my whole life were just out to get me. And I became real paranoid, and it got to a point where I was just in my house just arguing with my mom, and my mom was just like something's not right, you know.
Right,
so
right. Your mama know.
You know. So she was able to call the ambulance for me, and then they had brought me into Carney. They were able to hook up IV, whatever they did, and then so I was standing there, and psychiatrist was telling me I was probably experiencing a weed-induced psychosis.
Yeah. And
she was saying that like sometimes like your body chemistry changes. And like the way certain things that you might used to partake in, like it doesn't remain the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And she was saying it could be a possibility of like the K2 that I had consumed before. It could just be like my body chemistry.
K2 is not marijuana.
Nah,
it's like the
marijuana.
synthetic, right?
Yeah,
okay.
That's what people in jail use.
Yeah.
So a lot of times now, like I'm glad like I'm not around for somebody to tell me what they sell now. A lot of people like mix fentanyl in the weed and stuff like that.
Sure.
It's like to stretch out like whatever like they're selling, you know?
Yeah.
So through that experience and like just going in Carney, it's just honestly just like me being hard headed and going back and be like, you know what, maybe I was just tripping this time. Let me smoke weed again and see like if it
Yeah.
reacts differently. And then me just even becoming more paranoid. And
Wow.
so I just had to come to. I was saying the song like I wanted more for myself. Like I wasn't gonna let like just because I used to smoke weed and I like to smoke weed and now it's reacting to my body differently. I'm gonna keep smoking it. It's like nah, I have to want better for myself. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying. I'm more than just the weed. I'm more. I could do what I want. You feel me? Like I
Yeah.
don't need anything to make me feel a certain way to help me and to create or anything. Like it's just like if it's in me, then it's in me. You feel me? I
Yeah.
don't need anything else to influence
Right.
that.
Do you get high off your art? Like, and
Um,
what I mean high is like natural high. I think,
I think just life in general. You
yeah,
know,
life. Like,
just like just really just looking at the beauty of life. I was speaking about this the other day. It's like just like life is so simple. People overcomplicate it, I think, a lot. But I understand it. It's because of like how we live in society. You
we
know,
were
just like
conditioned to,
yeah, so many struggles that people have to go through. But life is
yeah,
really just simple. It's just like care for the people around you
yeah,
and like just work on whatever it is that you want to work on. But there's so many like different societal pressures that we have to undergo,
yeah.
especially like being black in America is crazy. You know what
That's,
I'm saying?
I mean, that's it right
That's
there. You know,
yeah.
I'm not skipping. The reason why I asked that question, because I don't,
Mhm,
I'm coming back to the mental health piece.
mhm.
I'm definitely not going to skip over that. You
Yeah.
know, I wasn't
Nah,
going
I
to do
feel you. I
that.
feel
You
you.
know, but I asked that because I think we're conditioned to always look like the society conditions us like you're not good enough. Like you
Mhm,
always got to be searching for something else, whether it's
mhm.
changing your body, whether it's changing your image, like your look, the physical body, getting high. You got to be under the influence like of something. Like
Yeah.
we're always conditioned from day one, like you need something else.
It's like a coping mechanism.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but you know what? Just like you when you were thinking about the name of like your your compilation, your music, and all these different things in the Mind of a Hustler exhibition, it was right here. It's
Yeah.
right here all along. So I think society conditions us to be everything but ourselves and be in that out of body experience versus like learning to get to know you and like learning how damn life can be beautiful. Life is beautiful. Like
Yeah.
that's why they call it a present because it's a gift.
Yeah, that's fire. That's a jewel right
Yeah,
there.
no, for sure.
That's fire. I like that.
Yeah, for sure. It's a gift. And so we so worried about what happened to us
Mhm,
or what's going to happen in the future. Like, I got to do this, I got to take care of this, or what happened to me, or whatever in the past that we
mhm.
don't even realize, like, in this moment, like, we don't even appreciate that.
Yeah.
So going back to, like, like, I've learned to become more mindful, like, not to
Mhm.
have to be, like, so worried about what's going to happen or not going to happen. Like, let me enjoy this moment that, I'm blessed
Yeah.
with in this present, this gift. But
Exactly.
going back to the mental health piece, I think of like it only takes one time. Like,
Yeah.
I've had family members, right? Like literally lose their life or lose their mental. My father, he was a licensed social worker, but he's from the streets. You know what I'm saying? He's
Mhm.
one of the original, like, I don't want to say gangster in a bad way, but in a good way, and
Yeah.
whatever. But he was out here on the streets, like working with all the gang youth because he was there. He'd been there back in everybody knows my dad. Like he's
Mhm.
deceased now, but if you're from Boston and you're a little old school, say cool. But
Mhm.
one thing he did, we had a family member who experienced psychosis after smoking weed.
Yeah.
And it actually, it only takes one time to smoke. And it could be laced with some stuff. It could be laced with fentanyl, like,
Yeah.
but back then it wasn't fentanyl, it was probably something else.
Like PCP stuff like that.
Yeah, it was
Different
something like
stuff.
that, angel
Yeah.
dust. But he literally, my family member went to the other side.
Mm.
And that's like when I say other side, like he said, like this is how he named the other side. Like this family member had schizophrenia induced
Yeah.
by, the
That's
substances.
what they had diagnosed me with when I
Right.
was in Carney. Yeah,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I was only there for 3 days.
Okay.
They were saying that they wanted me to stay there longer to like make sure the diagnosis is accurate. But I just knew that in myself. I was like, it's the weed that's making me act
Yeah,
like this. It's
it's
not. You feel me?
synthetic. It's
Yeah.
literally made.
Yeah.
It's like modified to destroy
Yeah.
your brain. And by the way, I'm modified and engineered. I'm going to mess you up. Literally, it tells you that. So
Yeah.
like, the reason why I brought my father because he taught me something. He was like, "Yo, once you go to that side, it's kind of hard to come back,
It is. Yeah.
and most people don't." And I said, "What you mean?" He's like, "Cause it's torture. You can start hearing a voice, you start getting irritable. You hear another voice, you hear another voice, and then before you don't know which one is real. That's why a lot of people who suffer from a lot of mental health illness listen to radios because they
Mm.
know that voice is real
Mm.
versus some of the outside voices. But I say this because he was able to help a family member come back. by literally bringing him with him
Wow.
to school, everything. He was like, yo, that's a real voice. That's not a voice. Like, he was literally on his back. He helped him, like, they had to medicate him at first, and then he lowered the he went through, but he already,
Yeah.
see, he knows how oppression and racism affects black males and black people in general, but he had to come with that lens. He know how to
Mhm.
he wrote a book called Post-Traumatic Slavery Disorder. So he
I
talks
definitely
about,
want to take a look at that book.
yeah, for sure. I got a copy for you, but he talks about the effects of slavery, of what it's done to our people.
Mhm.
So a lot of us have like mental health that runs in our family, but we don't know, but it can be triggered by ass whooping. Like,
Yeah.
some parents spank their kids, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden the kids like got problems. Or it could be triggered by a traumatic experience. It can be triggered by smoking that blunt one day. Your
Mhm.
life will change forever. And so it's really important that, like, I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't think people realize. I had a cousin lost his life of the party. Everybody loved him, but he lost his life. And I don't know why. I don't want to say, like, assume it was for certain things, but you just never know what's out here. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So we got to really be careful. And I think it's helpful to say, hey, I found this way to channel, to show like my life is good, like through my
Yeah.
art, through my life, just sitting here doing nothing. Do you sit there and do nothing sometimes? Because it sounds like you be doing a lot. Do you
Not
always
not
want to do
very
something?
not very often. Sometimes I was talking about this the other day too. I need to make more time for myself to just like relax. I feel like
Okay.
a lot of times I spent working, but I forget that sometimes you just need to be able to relax.
What
It's
what
just
does
like
relaxing look like to you? Because now here we about to go to this part
like
of the show.
I like to go on hikes, stuff like
Okay.
that. I
Nice.
like to be outside. Just anything doing outside, whether it's like I'm playing basketball,
Yeah.
hiking, ride my bike.
So
I like to be in the
nature,
sun.
air, sun. Okay,
Yeah,
we sun people.
stuff
Okay,
like
that's
that.
what's up.
Yeah,
So how often do you do that?
not very often as I used to.
Okay.
Definitely like when at the start of the pandemic, that's when I was figuring out, all right, what do I actually like to do that's not like, all right, watching TV
All
or
right.
like just chilling being on my phone.
Yeah.
Something I could do that's like just me.
Right.
And I started going on hikes. I really like that. And
Nice.
then as like stuff started picking up after everything started opening again, I just hasn't been much time for me to like make time for that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We have all the time work. I just have to make the time. I have to put it into my
We make
schedule.
time, like
You
you
know?
made time
Yeah.
today to come on the show, and I really appreciate, because you're
Mhm.
saying some valuable stuff, and our audience and listeners will hear some value. I don't care if it's one person or a minute, 100, 1,000.
Yeah.
There's some value to what we're talking about. But can I ask you, when you find yourself hiking versus not hiking, or enjoying
Mhm.
nature, or getting that sunlight, what's the difference do you notice about yourself?
Um, I definitely know that I'm way more in my head and way more critical of my decisions
Okay.
because it's like I just overanalyze everything that I do.
Ah, okay.
Because I understand it too. Because it's like I'm not taking that time to just breathe. I'm always like in work mode, so I'm just making sure that everything is on point.
Right.
And it could be like I don't like to overthink things because I feel like a lot of times like your intuition is always correct. It's like, all right, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is how I'm about to do it.
Right.
But then a lot of times you might be like,
Start
is this how I'm
overthinking it.
supposed to do
Then you
it? And
start
it's like,
questioning yourself, and then
yeah,
discount. In
you
therapy,
know,
we call that like kind of discounting, or discount. Like, you go get something of value, but then you bring it down the price, because you
yeah.
start saying no, you start becoming critical of it.
Hmm.
And we are very critical ourselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes, especially when you're dealing with anxiety or in your head. I always ask people like that saying in your head, like, what you mean by when you say you're in your head? But now I guess I realize it means like just thoughts, like kind of constantly, like
Yeah.
just going, going, going,
The way I
right?
was explaining it is like, so the way we speak, you can't speak over yourself, but your thoughts is like multiple yous inside your head just speaking over each other at the
Right,
same time.
right.
It's like, so that's how it feels sometimes. It's just like, it's kind of like, it's like just shouting at yourself. Like, I
Damn.
should do this. No, do this. Do it this way. Do it
Ah,
this way.
okay.
Nah,
So
do it this way. You feel me? Like,
so
it's like,
it's the way you talking to yourself.
yeah.
So the conversation, the dialogue that you have within yourself.
Hmm.
All right, pause. All right. So I'm always pushing positive self-talk. And I don't mean it on a corny, like, oh, let's all be happy. And I want us to all be happy, but I
Hmm.
really push it like a diet. I can't prescribe medication, but I can diagnose people.
Yeah.
And I push it like, this is your prescription, positive self-talk. And they're
Yeah.
like, what? You want me to do this 5 times a day or once a day for the next 7 days? Like
That's
like a
real.
pill.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, for sure. There's this I read about this Japanese scientist some time ago. He had an experiment with
Hmm.
water, and he talks about like, and I'm not capturing the whole experiment, right? But he had an experiment with his students, and I guess he was like talking to them. Like, he had not talking to them, but he had them he had 2 glasses of water. You ever heard the glass is half empty or half full?
Yeah.
All right, so he had 2 glasses of water. Again, I'm not saying exactly how it was, but I'm giving you an idea of how this works. This experiment he had. And so basically he had his students yell at the water. Like say, like, I hate you, like whatever. And whatever, like you're ugly, like you ain't never gonna be nothing to the water. Just literally like this is a cup of water and just yelling it. And then what happened is he had them look at the water under a petri dish. And the water literally started to change structure.
For real?
For sure.
That's crazy.
Yo, you know the movie Venom?
Yeah.
You know how it's like a splat, like a black splat? And nothing's wrong with black. But you know, it started under the microscope, the water literally started to change.
That's crazy.
Into like looking like Venom type of like mold. I don't know. It just darkened like. Now, he had the students do the same thing. Again, don't quote me on the whole experiment, but just the gist of it, right? He had the students do the same thing, and he had them look at the water and say nice things like, you're going to be you the greatest, you the best. I don't know what he had them say, but some positive things. And literally looked at the water under a microscope and in a petri dish. And I guess the water changed structure, but it crystallized like snowflakes. You know how snowflakes each have a different pattern? It's so beautiful and stuff. It literally changed structure just by the way it was talked to. So there's a saying like water, the theory is water holds memory. Now, this is how I explain it sometimes to clients, because I say this is science behind this.
Body's like 90% something.
I'm about to ask you that. How much is your body?
It's like 98, right?
I don't know. They say, some people say 70%, some people say 80%. It's a lot. Let's just take it like that, right? The body, like stress, trauma, all that stuff, but memories live in the body, your muscles, your tissue, everything. So let me ask you this. Let me say this. If that theory is true, and again, I'm not sure if I said it the right way, but there's science behind it. If the water can change structure, it could become beautified or something that looks like mold or infestation, right? If that can happen to water just by the way we're talking to it, think about when you're in your head. How does that change your structure?
And you're internalizing it.
And your internal, and then your environment. So if we're made of that much water, it's literally necessary to talk to yourself, even if you don't believe it. Like, I'm the shit. Like, look at yourself. You should maybe not shit because that word itself, but like, say something about yourself that's positive, because if you don't, that could make or break a situation. That could make or break the quality of your life. So like, we're all going to have tests. That's just like challenges every month. That's given. That's just the way life works. But if you find a way to look at that test and say, I got this, or I remember I was going through something so horrible one time, not horrible, but some rough patches in my life. And my mom said, Malika, this will pass. And I was like, okay. And the way she said it so calmly, so polite, and I started to have better thoughts about the situation. Like, damn, I can take care of this. I can knock this out. What? I can fix this. My whole life changed, and my outlook on that situation changed. So I said, wow. So just put it into practice. I literally prescribe that and say, listen, to different clients, different situations, or not even different people, like clients, like even like my homegirl, she does my nails, and a young crew be like, oh, I'm dead. I'm like, yo, don't say that.
I be seeing that.
I'm like, don't say that. They're like, why? I'm like, watch. You say that, you're gonna start feeling that. Then you're gonna become that. Then you're gonna become the Walking Dead. And you're gonna be like, damn, why am I feeling so down, so hurt, so angry? Because you told yourself to feel like that. So just going back to the thoughts in the head and stuff like that. I don't know if that was a little Jew right there, but
that's real.
I feel like, so when people used to say I'm in my head, now I get it. You gave me a good visual too, because that's the artistry coming out, right? Giving me the image. But so it's really important that you have that positive self-talk, but also I'm literally like prescribed. Like, I don't need Zoloft, I need positive self-talk this week. You know what I'm saying? But then secondly, nature. Connecting with the universe. I literally took my kids outside yesterday. I was like, yo, take your shoes off. They was like, well, you want? It's raining out. I said, yo, take your shoes off. I said, put your feet to that ground.
My cousin was telling me about grounding.
Grounding. I work on a lot of grounding techniques, but the thing about grounding is we are so much consumed on our phones, our situations, our life, work. We forget to, like, we are part of this universe. Do you think, like, growing up, like, okay, being in the music industry and being an artist and stuff, do you think, like, as a black male, a black man, and just being, you know, having a network you have, do folks like that, if you told them this stuff, like, or do you guys talk like this, or if you have conversations
Mhm.
around mental health, like, are people open to listening, or how do people like in your network deal with that?
I think everybody's different, you know. It definitely depends on like your background, your upbringing. I think I had like a good family backing me, you know what I'm saying? Not
Mm,
everybody has that,
mm-hmm,
you know what I'm saying? Some like a lot of the times, like yeah, so if my mom not might be around, it's like I could go to my grandma or my
mm-hmm,
aunt or my uncle.
mm-hmm.
Some people is like it's just them and their parents, and if their
Yeah,
parents is not the best, then you know.
yeah,
So everybody's different, but I think that everybody can have a certain level of open mindedness, you
yeah,
know. Like, and I think it depends on like how many years that person have dealt with the trauma that they're going through. You know what
yeah,
I'm
for
saying? Because the
sure.
deeper and deeper you go into it, it's like a shell that forms
Yeah,
around them
it's like a
that they
whole
don't
force
want to let.
field.
Cause yeah, cause
Yeah,
they're very defensive, and I can't blame them for that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Cause like sometimes you gotta be around on guard
yeah,
around people. You know,
for
so you don't
sure.
have that opportunity to really like open up and be vulnerable.
Yeah,
You
for
know?
sure. But you know what? Sometimes we think it's literally, I've talked to people who have had like some of the hardest trauma in their life. And I've said like one sentence. The reason why I started Drop of Jewels, because literally would say one word.
Hmm.
Um, like I would say positive messages to people.
Hmm.
And like some of the, I felt like that was my gift. Like, you know how your gift is like your art and many other talents, right? That you
Yeah.
have. But that was one of just my voice itself. And so I would say things to people who've had come from some of the hardest conditions and hardest past that you could never ever think of, you know,
Hmm.
or conceptualize. Or maybe you can conceptualize it, but and I'll say one line and they'd be like, I never looked at it. My whole life, I've been
Yeah.
thinking, my whole life, I've been thinking this way. And that quick, you said that one thing to me, and I never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
And I was like, for real? I do this all the time, you know? So that's why it became like Drop a Jewel, because I
That's
would,
dope.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, and when you see the power, the same way like you see like your art come to life, when you see, I guess that's my art, right? My voice, right?
Yeah.
But when you can see that come to life and literally change a life like that, that's so valuable.
Hmm.
Like that holds so much weight. Like that's so like that vision of seeing like just me making a joke or like something I said literally became alternate reality for someone
Yeah.
or alternate perspective. Just like art, like you, I can look at this right now and you be like, oh, it looks like this, and then you
Hmm.
look at it, you be like, no, it's this, right? A whole different perspectives, right? But to know that you can help someone with
Could change the trajectory of somebody's entire life.
entire life in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I remember this this one of my colleagues said, like, you have a gift. And I was like, for real? I already knew that,
Hmm.
but like just hearing it from people that don't know you from like birth and and just say,
Yeah.
wow, that's a gift. It's valuable. So I think we got to share our gifts with the community and the world.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I love the work that you're doing, and even you bringing that song up, Mayo Clinic. Like, you
Mhm.
know how many people who's going to listen to it? Because I know I heard it, and I know what that
Yeah.
those words that you were saying meant. But you know how many people who maybe are fearful of talking about mental health or fearful, like they put up these
Yeah.
facades and
For a while, I
yeah,
was so when I first left school, when I left school, I started working at Teen Empowerment. It's
nice.
an organization in Roxbury
Mm-hmm.
that's focused on just like wow, I don't know why I can't remember the message, but it's Teen, it's in the name, Teen Empowerment.
Empowerment,
Yeah, and
empowering teens, right?
I was working specifically with TE Studios, and I was like the sector of the organization. I was like focused on teaching you studio etiquette and
Ah,
how to perform stuff like that, how to become self sufficient as an artist. And so one of the things that one of my supervisors, Nate, he wanted me to do is just like share my experience with the youth about my mental health. I feel like it was so recent to when it happened, and I was kind of just like
he was
it
like,
was so hard
"Am
to
I
do it.
ready?"
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
so hard to do it, and then to now think that I'm able to like share my music and like anybody can hear it, not
right.
just people who I'm just speaking to right there, but like anybody that clicks play on that song can hear it.
And talk,
It's just like
yeah.
it's I've been able to grow to that point.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
almost thought I like when I heard the song, I almost like stepped into your lens of your eyes.
Hmm.
Like if you have glasses on, like I'm like literally your glasses. Like
Yeah.
I've seen it with family members in the community. Like,
Hmm.
and I was like, I just stepped into that lens and I felt it. So I can only imagine the youth or whoever hears that music was like, okay, this person connects with me. But I
Hmm.
don't think like it was just like I feel like some people make songs around mental health and I feel like it's just like dangerous.
Yeah.
But I felt like your music, and when I say dangerous, let me pause on that. I mean dangerous like there's no there's a there's not like a message. It's just like the horribleness of it, and that's
Yeah.
it. And I think that's dangerous for someone who's maybe unstable to hear, but they're not here. Like I felt like your song, it was authentic, it was real, but it also came with like solution.
Yeah, it comes
Yeah,
full circle.
yeah, you know
You
what I'm
know.
saying. So
Yeah.
that piece is needed. So so all right, let's go back for a second. So you got the artwork, the art exhibition. When's the next one?
Probably like sometime next year.
Okay.
Honestly, I want you to come see it. We're doing like private walkthroughs this week.
Oh, for
Because
sure.
we're gonna end off the gallery with an auction, but we're still like in the planning process of like just coming up with logistics and everything. But
Yeah.
this we want as many people to see it as possible.
Yeah.
So definitely like
Well,
hit me
first
up.
of all,
Yeah.
you don't gotta say I want you to come because I was coming. It was just I think the day of the I just found out about it the night before, and I was like, "What time is it? Can I bring my kids?"
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I want people all ages to see it.
Perfect. Because I want them to see that like that inspiration too, like that motivation of like my oldest son, he loves doing like the artwork, and I've seen like some of the things that you created. You make clothes, not just regular
Yeah,
clothes.
this is my brand right here. Clothes by Tomo. Yeah.
So what's that? What's the inspiration around that shirt? That sweater.
This is my main logo. This is a goblin.
Okay.
And basically, I drew this in 2018. I was in class, and then when I was coming up with my brand, I needed to make some prints and some T-shirts. So like, I was just going through my sketchbook and I chose this. And then since then, like a lot of people gravitated towards this logo. I've used a bunch of different logos before.
And you got a money sign on the bottom.
Yeah, I do. One of my slogans of my brand is get fresh, stack money.
Okay. Because ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you know, I like to express myself through my clothes, and I feel like as we get older, like fashion gets boring. So I try to make my clothes as like fun as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So people could bring out their inner child and just like feel good and feel fun with the stuff that they put on. You know?
So all right, we're gonna need to customize Goblin, Drop a Jewel with Malika. Like I'm just thinking of the vision now. So I'll let you conceptualize that, right? And put it together. I'll bring the hoodies. You just bring the artwork, right? All right. So you got the art, you got clothes. You showed me a like the
pouch, you want?
Yeah, can we get that pouch?
Yeah, so all my clothes are handmade. Like that's why it's Clothes by Tomo, because every piece of clothing or accessory I make it with my hands.
Can I see that?
Aside from certain things, like I have socks and beanies and I get those manufactured, but
I love this.
Majority of my clothes are handmade because I like people to feel like they really have a unique one-of-one piece from me.
Wow. Because like my son is 14 and he's always losing everything. But so I brought all my other kids, like school just started. So I brought them all pencil cases and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not gonna buy him this. He just gonna throw it away. But I could see him keeping this. Yeah. I could see him like making sure he like this. Wow. Yeah, I love this.
The newer ones I made have zippers and it has like a inserted lining too.
I like the Velcro.
Yeah, you like the Velcro? I personally like the Velcro better too. A lot of people's like, yo, it needs a zipper so stuff doesn't fall out.
Nah, it's like it's like it's giving me what was that movie? Coming to America. Where he said, "What is it, velvet?" But it's like, "What is it, Velcro?" It's giving me those vibes. I love this. What was the inspiration behind this? Even something like this.
Honestly, I was just bored one day before I was going to an event, and I had a little bit extra time.
Can I keep that? No.
I was just like, let me see what I could do. I just took a piece of denim. I started sewing a bunch of scraps because, like, when I work on clothes and stuff, I keep all the scraps because I don't like to waste stuff. So I just sewed everything on there, and then I just folded it in half, made the pouch, and
you're efficient. So you're not so he's good for the earth, right? You know, Clothes by Tomo is good for the earth.
Yeah, right? It is. Everything, most of it's upcycled. Yeah.
Wow, I love this. Like, so all right, you got clothes, t-shirts, hoodies. You got what else?
You can go clothesbytomo.com. You can check out everything.
All right, let's go, y'all. I gotta go there. Check out Tomo's clothes. But I love the clothes, so people can put in their orders and things like that.
Yeah, I do take commissions. Those are you can send an email inquiry or you can DM me.
Okay.
I have that. Most of the time, I update my website probably every 2 weeks, and I'll make new stuff. So what I do is a lot of times I get opportunities to vend at events, and so I'll make clothes for those events, and then whatever I have left over, I'll throw on my website.
Okay.
And I release in collections too. I haven't released a collection in a while though. Last time I released a collection was
I got an idea.
February last year. I'm working on a collection now though soon. That's gonna drop. That's the one I was talking about next month in September.
Nice.
Because I have a new shipment of socks coming in.
Okay.
That's one of my best selling items is my socks.
Socks.
Yeah, I'm not wearing them right now. I wish I was. Should have, but yeah.
I love socks.
Today. Yeah, I can show you some. Oh, my phone's over there.
That's okay.
I'll show you after, but it's the socks and it has the goblin on it. People love it.
Wow, I want to come to the I want to come to the exhibition in general,
Mhm.
but I also like to come and give our viewers too like a view of what's going on, like the
Mhm.
hard work that you're doing, and like I don't really hear too many people in the community just saying, "Let me just do art." There are some,
Yeah.
but like to do it, just have a thought, to have a vision, and to make it real in reality.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, what more can you say? And do you have like a lot of like I know that costs money. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
So
funding, this is like business work. Like,
yeah,
how does
like
that process work?
I was able to have grace, so I didn't have to spend money on the venue
Yeah.
because I had it through Marlon Forrester. He was able to provide that space to us.
Okay.
That's the gallery space that he works with. It's through AMARP. I can't remember what the acronyms for is. AAMARP.
Okay.
It's like African American Media Art something, but it's like, yeah. So they have that space. It's right there in JP off of Emery Street.
Yeah, but that goes
And
back to your network. Remember we
yeah.
talked about that network and a support system and how important that is,
Mhm.
right? Because like usually people got to pay a lot of money for those things,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
those things are really valuable. So you got that network.
Yeah, so
So that,
then the only thing I had to spend money on was the materials, the art materials, the
mm,
canvases, the paint, and stuff like that.
wow,
And so that definitely relieved a lot of stress off me
wow,
because we wanted the event to be free. But if
yeah,
we had to pay for a venue, we'd have to charge for tickets so that we could break even.
right.
But because the venue was free, we was able to make the event free and have as many people come through as possible.
What was the
Yeah.
feedback you got from like the people that came?
I feel like a lot of people liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people really liked it, and it's crazy because this is like I feel like I'm at a point now where I could create something and people are gonna come check it out no matter what it is. You
yeah,
know, like I'm first and foremost like a musician. Like
yeah,
my main focus, like my main passion, not my main focus, but my main passion is music.
yeah,
I make clothes because this is what makes me money. I've
yeah.
been doing it full time now for a year since last June, and so this is
Nice.
how I've been able to like
Let's go.
pay my
Yeah,
portion of the rent, feed
yeah,
myself, stuff like that.
yeah.
Um, so it's just been amazing.
Hustler.
It's been amazing to see this, and so it's cool to just see like, all right, if I want to put together some artwork, people will come through to look at it.
Yeah,
I think that was what's most important too. My main goal for the gallery was to just have people look at the art.
yeah. And I
That's what
think,
I just yeah.
yeah, I
Mhm.
think even for like the youth to see that, like, I think it's important. Like, all right, so like coming from Boston, a lot of people don't realize like how much like outside of Boston, they don't really. I think Boston is becoming more known for certain things, but
Mhm.
they don't realize like how like dangerous some of our streets are.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like you go across one street, you in a whole nother hood
yeah, it's
territory,
crazy.
and it's
Yeah.
dangerous. And so a lot of times growing up in that, like you constantly like see that. I know
Mhm.
I did. You know what I mean? I seen that
Yeah.
my whole life. Just growing up. Not saying I'm like a part of nothing, but just like you live there, you see it. This is what you're a part
Mhm.
of. So I feel like it's so vital that it's it's so vital that the youth, especially the youth, but also everybody else too, see that. Because I think
Mhm.
what the imagery that folks are seeing, you got to be able to connect first of all.
Yeah.
I remember like when I was younger, someone was like, "Oh, everyone needs to go to college," and it was like feeding that to like that kind of story to a lot of youth, and a lot
Yeah.
of youth get discouraged because they're like, "Well, I can go sell some drugs real quick and get that money." They want to come up, they want to look nice, they want. So why would I go to college when I can go make money here? So you have to be able to give people a different perspective of how they
Yeah.
can make money because youth like are our future, right? They literally like
Exactly.
like somebody gonna be in a nursing home. Who you want to be there taking care of you, right? So whether we like it or not, the youth is our future. So we want to make sure like they see something different than just drugs, violence, and crime and abuse and torture. Like
Mhm.
we gotta change that narrative. And I'm not saying that's the only thing in the hood, but that's what a lot of many people see. So when people think of
Yeah.
Boston, they don't think of that.
Yeah.
They like, oh, Boston's like Harvard and you know,
Harvard not even in Boston.
right. They don't even know that. It's in
Yeah.
Cambridge. So
Fact.
they don't see like how like it's bad too because at least in New York, like different boroughs is like kind of at
Yeah, it's
beef
different
or
stuff.
whatever.
Yeah.
But like Boston's so small and you can literally walk across the street and be in a whole nother territory
Yeah.
and have problems. Um so I think that it's important like the youth see something different like oh he looks cool, not like you like corny like here's an art musician but like
Mhm.
you look cool, you're showing things that they like they can gravitate towards
Yeah.
like oh I like that like that's dope that's lit whatever, that's the connection right there. Oh I could do that
Yeah.
too, how you do that
Exactly.
Tomo, how you do that?
Yeah,
So I think that it may be helpful for you to, and I know we talked about this earlier, to really get some interns.
yeah. I
To
want to do that. I want to do more stuff like that. Bring on youth to work. I want to do more workshops. I was
yeah,
actually able to do a workshop this past winter at a place called Roxbury Youth Program.
yeah,
I was teaching them how to kickstart a brand with no money.
yeah.
Just like
See, this is what I'm
you could
talking
literally
about.
start a brand.
Yeah,
All you need is a phone or a laptop. You can start a brand
that's
and
right.
start making money today with nothing, with zero fees. You know what I'm saying? Aside from like Wi-Fi,
Right.
that you could just go in the library. You could go to the library and start your brand
This
today.
is what I love
Like
about this generation
yeah,
because the opportunity is lit. You have
you
in
have
your
all the
phone,
resources.
you
Yeah,
have like everything in your phone.
yeah,
Literally, you can get like you can do so much with your phone and like you did the so you're showing you, man, they listen, the city better take note. The city
hmm
better take note if they wanna, if they actually care to take note, but they better take note because this is powerful what you're doing. And I think that you need to continue to spearhead things like this in the community. I know a lot of people in the community who's doing music and stuff like that, and that's all
hmm
good. But I'm like, what else?
yeah.
like, like what else? What? Because like,
That's part of the reason why I did the gallery because I feel like I was going to a lot of events and they felt the same.
yeah,
It's like you get there might be a performance,
yeah,
people selling food and clothes, but it's like let's do something different. There's way many like different
yeah,
types of events we could do. You know what I'm saying? So I really just do that to just to push the envelope to get people like thinking. You know, my biggest thing is like just like showing like once you see something in front of you, it's easier for you to do it. I believe that like seeing something in front of you is easier for you to attain it. So
right,
like
absolutely.
just
Because you like the youth need to be able to see that it could be done.
uh
And once they can see it, like you or anyone, because like once you can see it could be done. Like for me, like I used to work around a lot of psychiatrists, doctors, professionals, and I was the one in the background doing like a lot of work.
mhm,
And but I was used to be like, how come they don't know these basic things or whatever? So like anytime I'm like they don't got no common sense or something.
yeah.
And I'm not, and I wasn't like licensed or credentialed and stuff like in certain ways, but I just knew I had common sense and a little hustle, and I just like you could figure it out. And so like to some of the most complex things, I was like, yo, all you got to do is how to figure it out. Everything has a process.
Yeah,
So like if someone says, well, I don't know how to start a business, Google how to start a business. Like if you don't know, like if you're
mhm,
trying to like get corporated, Google or look it up or just do a
yeah,
little teeny research and you'll be surprised what you get. Or like sometimes like people like try to figure out like how to get credential for certain things in my field or how to start up a clinic. And I'm like, it's not as complex, but that's where the mind comes into play telling you
yeah,
can't do it or it's so hard, but it's really not. So I think you're giving people a vision for that. And I know excuse me, like everything you're doing is so powerful and I can only imagine where this thing is going because I can see it. I'm a visionary and I can like I can see it. So
thank you,
I no, I really do see it.
appreciate it.
And of course, I'm going to support you. What I want to say is this show is about dropping jewels.
Mhm.
So you know I'm coming for you, right?
Yeah,
Now
yeah, wow, yeah,
we don't drop a lot of jewels, but
the
if you had to drop a jewel or send a message to our people or anybody, whoever's watching, right?
mhm,
Of all your experiences, mental health, stress, music, art, networking, support, family dynamics, everything. Your story is amazing. It's marvelous, I say. And we haven't
yeah,
even got to the whole like in-depth stuff, but I'm definitely coming to the art exhibition. But if you had to drop some jewels today,
mhm.
based off of everything we said, what's the jewels?
I feel like the jewels. I'm gonna say this one to the camera because this is for the viewers. The jewel that I have to drop is just keep going. Consistency is going. You can't fail if you don't quit. A lot of people just try to focus on what's going on around them. If you just focus on yourself and you keep doing what you're doing, you can never lose. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's journey looks different. As long as you're
Mm,
making some type of progress every day, then you're doing the right thing. And you can't worry and stress about the money. We need money to survive, but you can't worry and stress about it, and you should never like love and lust after the money.
mm,
If you're doing what you're doing, then the money is gonna come to you because if you're spending time doing what you're not supposed to do, the money's not gonna come to you. Time is the most valuable type of currency. It's more valuable than actual money. You can spend money and get that back. You can spend time and you can never get that back. So what you spend your time doing is very important. So make sure you're working on something that is actually important to you and you work on it every day and you never quit. Because once you quit, that's when you lose. It's when you fail. If you keep going, then you can't fail. because you just growing and keep like progressing. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people get discouraged and they quit. But it's like if you never quit, you can't ever lose.
Right. So, whew, wait, I don't even want to repeat what you did because you said it so marvelous, right? You
Thank
already
you.
said
Yeah.
it. Wow. So stay focused. Some keywords I had heard: stay focused. Don't lust after the money. Don't worry. You know, you can figure it out. Like you just said mad stuff, and I don't want to I don't want to even summarize it because that was just dope. So you just dropped mad jewels, and it's obvious that those jewels are real and a reality for you. Now, thank you for dropping that jewel. Well, those jewels. Now, my next question is: you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So you did mention you gotta do more relaxing.
Yeah.
All right. So let's come up with the vision now. Okay. Let's come up with the vision, and I'm gonna follow up with you.
But
I want to make sure you take care because the mind, you gotta relax, right? You got what they say, you gotta relax.
yeah.
All right. So I want to hear three things. Self-care. I'm big on self-care.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm on it. I want to hear three things. Three things. All right. Three for the stripes. That's why I got Adidas on today. Okay. All right. Three things that you're going to do, right, to help you relax. What is going to be your plan? Because, like you said, you didn't make time.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't been, but you've been doing a little bit more. You've been taking that initiative lately.
Yeah.
But we want this to be consistent. The same way you get up and brush your teeth every day, right? No, I'm just joking. Yeah. Right? The same way you brush your teeth, you're not told to do that. You just do it because I gotta brush your teeth. I ain't gonna be doing no exhibitions when those things rap, right? Yeah. But the point is, the same way you get up every day and do certain things automatically, that's how easy self-care should come to us. To make the time to do it. Give me three things.
All right. So I'm gonna say one of the things I already started doing again. I was doing my daily push-ups. I do them in the morning when I wake up and before I go to sleep. Another daily thing that I'll probably do is
How many you do the push-ups?
Well, right now I started back. I'm doing 50 a day, so I'm doing 25 in the morning, 25 when I wake up.
That's realistic.
When I go to sleep.
Remember you said realistic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then eventually I'm gonna get to 50 in the morning and then 50 before I go to sleep, and I'll see where I go from there.
Okay.
And
that's
then another thing is praying every time I wake up. Usually I'll try to remember to pray every day before I wake up. If I don't, then I'll pray before I go to sleep. But I definitely want to pray before I start my day.
Nice.
Something I want to do.
Nice.
And another thing, I'm supposed to journal every day. I was reading this book recently called the Artist Way. My girl gave it to me actually. Shout out my girl Key.
She's special. Yeah,
shout out Key. No worries.
Yeah, shout out Key because she's special.
Yeah. She gave me a book called The Artist Way, and I've been reading it. And one of the things that's in there is called I think it's called the Daily Pages or something.
Yeah.
It's basically when you first wake up, what you do is you just write 3 pages. Whatever comes to your mind, you just write it down.
3
no matter
pages?
What it is. Yeah, 3 full notebook pages. It could be one front and back and then another one, or it could just be 3, however you want to do it. And it's just right, no matter what comes to your mind. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct, formatted, or anything. Just write whatever comes to your mind.
Okay.
And not supposed to just get out whatever self-doubt you might have inside of you or anything that's clouding your brain throughout the day. You just write whatever comes to your brain.
That's so dope.
And you get it out at the start of your day. And what you do is you don't read it. You could read it maybe months after you've done it.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Every day you write it and you close it. You don't show nobody. You don't read it yourself. It's just to get everything, just to clear your mind at the start of the day.
Wait, okay, so
and that's something I started one day, and then I haven't been able to be consistent with it. I felt like it was good, and that one day that I did it, I definitely feel like I could see myself doing it more. I just needed create a more consistent routine for myself, because I feel like now I don't know, as an entrepreneur I'm doing different things every day. Not every day I might be I don't have a set schedule, so maybe it's just those could be things that's part of my schedule. So
structured in maybe.
Yeah.
So although you're entrepreneur like myself, so we sometimes
you pick your own schedule.
You pick your schedule, right? Yeah. And that's a blessing. What a blessing. And I'm not taking that away from that, but still structure these things in.
Exactly.
So okay, so let's go back. So we got, all right, let's start all over. So we got the journaling, we got the prayer, and what was the third thing?
Daily push-ups.
Daily push-ups, 25. Yeah. I love that. Because one is kind of physical, mental, they're all kind of spiritual, mental. So you're addressing your spiritual self-care, mental self-care by getting it out on paper, right? Like that. And then the physical self-care.
I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah. People don't think when they think of self care, they're like, oh, hair nails and spending money and all that stuff. I'm like, nah. You can't spend money all the time. You have to nourish the whole body, spirit, soul.
Yeah.
All right. So we got those three. I love those three, and I hope our viewers will take heed to those three things, because those are really easy things that you can do. Now, before we end, do you foresee any barriers?
Yeah. There's always barriers in life, but life is just about overcoming the barriers.
All right.
So always gonna be barriers. Yeah.
You're right. So the barriers that you do foresee, maybe you might want to write them down on that paper, that journal, and not look at it again, but think about what barriers could come in the way of that, because like you say, you want to have that rhythm, right? You want to have that routine, that structure. So I love this. Tomo, I love this. I love this. This is good. This is good.
I like this conversation we had. This is a real good episode.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I do too. I think this is going to help a lot of people, but help you and help I can't wait to come to the exhibitions, bring my kids, my family to kind of check it out and push it. And some of my students that I work with, I'll definitely push it too. So here we have it, folks. Drop a Jewel with Malika. We got Tomo here.
Yes, sir.
Check out the music. Check out the artwork, the exhibition, the close of Tomo. Yeah. Tell them one more last time where they can get with you at.
Yeah, so you can find me on all streaming platforms. Proud by Tomo. You can find me on social media at KOBK617. And yeah, from there, everything links is in my bio, all that. Yeah.
Okay, and what's the Instagram?
KOBK617.
Okay, so okay, cool, we got it.
Everything is there.
All right, so we lit. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tomo.
Thank you for having me.